Welcome to Stuck in My Mind podcast, the show where we dive into the mind of a regular guy on his road to self-discovery. You'll hear everyday people just like you share the latest topics, personal stories, and things they've learned along the way. And now, please welcome your host, Wise.
And welcome to another episode. I am your host, W-I-Z. I don't even know my name, W-I-Z-E. And I have a very special guest. Actually, it's kind of something that I need to work on myself personally. So I'm glad I have him on the show. Welcome, Stavros Mastrogiannis.
Hey. Thank you for having me.
The pleasure's
I'm
all
very
mine.
happy to be on your show.
Yes. So me personally, I'm 6'1" and probably almost close to 300 pounds. So I know I'm overweight. I know I'm obese. I need to lose weight. And I'm actually starting to set a schedule so where I'm gonna start going to the gym and all that. But that's not all. There's definitely things I need to do. I know I have to change my eating habits. I have very poor eating habits.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Well, the first thing you need to realize that you don't have a weight problem. As a matter of fact, nobody has a weight problem. What we have is a habit problem. Weight gain and bad health, it's only a side effect. That's the first mindset you need to change, is like the way you view the issue. Because in order to lose weight, obviously, we need to change a lot of habits. If you focus on the weight and you go ahead and change all those habits, what happens? You burn out, because you can't go from, like say, not exercising, not eating right, not eating the wrong food. I mean, again, I don't know exactly, your habits, but you can't change them overnight. And what happens with most diets and exercise programs, people try to change everything at once so they can lose weight fast. So what happens instead? Yes, they lose weight fast, but they gain it back. I don't know if you know the statistics. 95% of the people who lose weight gain it back. Why? You don't have the priority straight, or they don't want to lose weight that bad? Of course they do. The problem is that they burn out. And the reason they burn out is because the approach is wrong. Have you heard the saying, knowledge is power? That's actually wrong. It's applied knowledge is power. It's not what you know, it's what you do with what you know that really makes a difference.
This is true.
And to me, it's all about, not just about giving people the right habits to apply to their lives, but also giving them advice of how do you apply those habits into your life. That makes a big difference. And usually I tell people that the best thing to do is first look at your lifestyle, look at everything that you do, and identify, okay, what bad habits do I have that contributes to my weight or health problems? And second, what healthy habits I don't have and I should have that I need to develop? Then pick one. To me, the mistake that people make is they want to do everything. No, just pick one and focus on developing that. I give you one example. You just mentioned that you want to start exercising.
So should I focus on that aspect of it?
Yes.
Just focus on the exercise. Don't worry about the dieting or the changing of fat habits. Focus on that one and conquer that one. I would assume.
Yep. And I wouldn't even take that aspect of exercising and break it down into even smaller steps. And what I would say to you is start with walking. And here's the advice I give to my clients, and usually left in my face before I get a chance to explain what I mean, is start by walking. Make it a habit, like every day, or 4 or 5 days a week. Walk 1 to 5 minutes. That's it. Start in the morning. You get up in the morning before you don't even join the gym in the beginning. Go. I don't know where you live, you can walk outside and walk 1 to 5 minutes, and make that a routine. Now, most people say to me, "Well, what would 1 minute or 5 minutes do?" Nothing. But what it will do is get you to start walking regularly. In other words, develop the habit of walking. That's step number one. As a matter of fact, when it comes to exercising, I always tell people the first goal of an exercise program is not results. That's the mistake people make. The first goal of an exercise program is to develop the habit of exercising. How do you develop a habit? Consistency. So if, let's say, I was your trainer and I told you, something, you need to go and walk 1 to 5 minutes, 4 to 5 times a week. Could you come back to me next week and tell me I ain't find 5 minutes to walk? Of course not. On the other hand, if I give you the advice that most trainers give, which is you got to do at least 30 minutes of cardio 4 or 5 days a week, what is the chance of that happening consistently? Not very good. But what happens is once you develop the routine of getting up 5 minutes earlier and walking for 5 minutes, or at the end of your day, whichever way, isn't it easier to make the 5 minutes into 10 minutes and then 50 minutes? And then before you know it, you get into the habit of walking regularly. Then you can start adding some lifting. And I would say to you, start with simple stuff like push-ups or like some squats, some crunches, but keep it simple, the routine, and then build on the routine. I'll give you a personal example. I'm probably one of the few fitness professionals that hates exercising. But I exercise. I know but it's the truth, actually.
No. I just, it's just funny.
But I exercise regularly because what I did was I made it into a habit. And what I've done, like in the beginning, I remember I got into the industry, by the way, back in 1992. But the way I ended up in the industry was almost out of frustration because I was trying to get in shape, to look around the beach. I was a young kid, to look around the beach, to get the
Yeah, of
girls.
course, everybody wants to look good at the beach.
And I would start with this really intense workouts because I figured, the more intense workouts, the faster I get results. Instead, what happened? I would burn out. Even when I got results, I would still burn out. I could not sustain that kind of intense workouts. And all the advice I was getting from fitness professionals, they would tell me what to do, what exercises to do, how many reps, how many sets, all that stuff. I would follow it for a month or two, and then I would fall off the wagon. And I realized, like, wait a minute, these people don't really understand people like myself who does not like exercising. I like to have the results from exercising, but I hate the process of getting in shape. And that's how I slowly started doing research on psychology to start understanding how do you develop habits. And and what I started doing, and actually I would say the what I learned that really made a huge difference of how I help my clients. Have you ever heard of the Kaizen method? Kaizen, it's a Asian philosophical system on how to best apply change. So I got introduced to that system, and the whole thing was about taking a habit, breaking it down into very, very small steps, and start working on the smallest step possible. So I applied that first with flossing, by the way. Flossing, everybody should be doing it. It's really good for your teeth. And I couldn't floss myself. I could not floss regularly. I would go to my dentist for my regular cleanup. He would tell me about how I'm not flossing enough. It would give me all the reasons why I should be flossing, like I did not know them. I would get inspired. I would do for a couple of weeks and then fall off the wagons. Same thing what happens with exercising. I can sit here and tell you all about exercising, all the benefits, which you already know. You get inspired. You might start exercising for a couple of weeks and then fall off the wagon because you didn't develop a habit. Yes, intellectually, you know you should be doing it, but you're not doing it. So I started experimenting with flossing. So I said, if I get myself to floss regularly, this really works. So I start flossing one tooth every night. Same tooth, by the way, too. Up, down, done. I told my dentist what I was doing, and his reaction was, you're not flossing, you're wasting your time. I said, George, by the way, that's his name. You're missing the point. I'm not trying to floss. Forget the results. I am trying to develop the habit of picking up the string every night. And by making the action so small, I don't talk myself out of it. It took me a couple of months. I've been flossing it's been years now. I never miss a night because it's a habit. Well, then I took the same philosophy and applied to exercising. So my exercise program consists altogether around 8 to 9 exercises, but only 3 are the must do. And by having the mindset that as long as I do those 3 exercises, I call it a workout, the rest of them were bonus. So the days I didn't feel like exercising, I went with the mindset, something, I could do those 3 exercises, it takes 5 minutes, and I will do it. And before you know it, exercise became a habit. And by the way, most of the time I would do all of them anyway. I've been exercising regularly. Now it's a part of my lifestyle. I don't think about it. I just do it. And that's how you slowly, sorry.
That's not a bad, like, for me, that's not a bad idea. Like, like I said, I live in the mountains. My neighbors aren't really on top of me. I have
Yeah.
one neighbor that's close to me, but my thing is, I get up at 2 o'clock in the morning because I have to be at work at 4.
Oh, wow.
And I can do what you said, like start 5 minutes. I can walk 5 minutes in my driveway early in the morning, like when I go warm up my car,
Yep.
walk for 5 minutes in the driveway, and it's a start. That's
It's a start.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah, or you can do it after your work if that's too early. But to me, the best thing to do both times. In other words, do 5 minutes in the morning, and then when you get home, maybe do another couple of minutes, and then slowly develop the habit of walking. Then you can maybe add a couple of push-ups. Nobody said you have to go to a gym because I was because the idea of having to go to the gym to work out adds one more obstacle in your way. And to me, nothing against gyms, by the way. I think gyms are great. But first, I would develop the habit of exercising. Then, if you want to get to the next level where you're going to need some equipment, then join the gym or buy equipment if you like to. But a lot of people buy the equipment before they have the habit. So what happens is the equipment they hang clothes on.
Yep.
I think they're cheaper clothes hangers than buying treadmills for them.
Me personally, when I did go to the gym, I'm not a treadmill person. My knees would kill me, but I like the elliptical, and I would burn a lot doing the elliptical personally. That's one of my favorite machines to use. And then work on my core, because that's my issue. That's where all my issue is in my gut.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I tell you, as far as like aerobic machines go, do you know which one is the best? The one you will do.
Yeah.
Okay. The one you will do. It doesn't matter. It's all debate about which one.
It's all in the mind. You know what it is? It's all in the mind. It is.
Yes.
It really is. So the best, you're absolutely right. The best one is the one you use.
Yeah. The one that you like and you will do, pick that one. Doesn't really matter which one burns calories, which one burns more calories, I have to say. Because at the end of the day, and here's a debate. They say treadmills burn the most, or there's some other new equipment. But let's use treadmill compared to bikes. They say treadmills burn more calories than a stationary bike. But let's say you're a person who hates walking on a treadmill. That means you're going to be going really, really slow on the treadmill compared to, let's say you love biking. On the bike, you're going to push yourself a lot more. So guess what? You're going to be burning more calories on the bike, although research says that you burn more calories on the treadmill. And that's why I always tell people, pick the aerobic exercise you like the most, because that's really, consistency is the key to results, not what you do great once in a while. So pick that. And same thing with working out. Now, you mentioned before about the problem areas. You want to keep in mind that there's no such thing as spot reduction. In other words, if let's say you need to lose fat off your midsection, it doesn't matter how many crunches you do. It doesn't. Yes, crunches are good, and you should do them, by the way, to strengthen the core. But it will not have any effect on the fat that's over the muscle. And you see a lot of equipment that's sold that way by promising that they're going to take care of the trouble areas. You have flab underneath your arms, do this exercise. If you have stomach, a lot like love handles, do that exercise. Unfortunately, as far as fat is concerned, all you can do is create the environment in which the body can lose weight in. Your genetic makeup will determine from where the fat's going to come off from. It doesn't matter what you do. And usually, by the way, you're going to lose it the opposite way you gained it. So let's say a person start gaining weight from the legs up. When they start doing all the right things, they're going to start losing it from the upper body down. That's usually how body fat comes off.
That'd be good. Yeah, it's something like, personally, like I spoke to my wife. I said, you know what? I have to get on the schedule. It's crazy because I work from 4 to 12, and then I come home. Sometimes I might have to record at 2 o'clock. Sometimes I might record later on. It depends. But I really have to get on a schedule where, like you said, take 5-10 minutes to go for a walk, do some exercise after work, and and then schedule myself, like make sure I have a because I really don't have a set schedule to when I record. So I just
Yeah.
I leave some available hours. I think personally I need to really set a set hour for me to record and then work. It's crazy because I know what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm in my own way. That's why I'm stuck in my mind. That's why my podcast is because I am stuck in my mind in a lot of issues that I have. But don't we all be all?
Exactly. No, I agree with you 100%. That we're all stuck in our minds. How many times there's other areas that I procrastinate on? I know what I need to do. Just do it. And sometimes I think when we do something, we want to be perfect about it. And we're waiting for the perfect moment, perfect time when the stars lined up. And I have a saying actually about exactly that. That I always tell people, do you know when was the best time to start an exercise program? It was last year. The second best time is right now. And I think that's true in everything. And sometimes, again, we get in our own way. I agree 100%. So I agree with what you said, that you have to kind of set a schedule for, okay, when you're going to be exercising, just going to make it a routine because you want to make it a routine. And by making a routine, that's how you develop a habit. Once you develop a habit, you don't need to think about it anymore. And also, I want to address a little bit because I know a lot of people have this idea that you need to change your workouts often. That's actually not true at all for the average person that just want to lose weight and get in shape. If you're a bodybuilder, that's a little bit different. But we talk about the average person. You don't need to change the routine. I hardly ever change my routine, and the only thing I need to change is the resistance. So if let's say I'm using lifting weights, if the weight gets lighter, obviously I need to make it heavier. But I don't need to go and do different exercises every time I work out. And I think is by changing the routine often, you're looking for trouble because every time you change the routine, that means you have to get used to it again, which means it requires motivation to do it. And as we all know, motivation comes and goes. Sometimes you're motivated to do the right thing, and sometimes you're not motivated. And that's how I think a lot of people get in trouble, with having to change the routine.
And that's crazy. I never thought about that because it takes what is it, over 21 days for you to build up a habit to
Yes,
do it 21 days consecutively to
exactly.
build up a habit. So if you're switching your routines, you're not doing the same thing consecutively. You're not really, that's absolutely right.
Exactly.
You're not doing the same thing consecutively. So you're not building that habit. Yeah, you're building the habit of going to the gym, but you're not
Yep.
building.
The habit
Oh,
of doing it because it takes
yes.
it takes around 21 days to start. Actually, you don't truly develop the habit in 21. You become very comfortable with it, so it's on its way of becoming a habit, and it
Yeah.
takes around 6 months to really ingrain the habit. And if you keep changing the routine every week, you never stay consistent with something long enough to really make it habitual. Now, if you look at athletes, it's a different animal. It's very, very different thing because athletes, they get millions of dollars to be in top shape. Yeah, if you're giving me $1 million a year, I work out 2, 3, 4 hours a day. But it's a different motivation. That's why athletes, you cannot compare athletes with the average person. And the motivations that athletes have, the average person does not have because there's not an economic incentive to work out. You're doing it for your health, which is even more important, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. This is great, man. This is something I need. I didn't really know how this was gonna go. I just knew this is something I needed to hear and listen to, and this is great, man. Like I'm really learning a lot.
Oh, we are glad to hear.
I
The
didn't, yeah, because a lot of the things you say make sense. Like when you really hear it from someone, it makes a lot of sense to a lot of the questions to why a lot of people fail in exercising and dieting.
Yeah, the well, exactly. It's like, well, let me take a step back, kind of, if you want to get dig a little deeper as to why we fail at the end. We all know. I mean, a lot of people know that we have the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. Okay, the conscious mind is the mind that thinks. That's the one that gets us to do things, to calculate or whatever to do. The subconscious mind runs in the background. It's our habits. Just to get an idea, the different processing power of its mind, the subconscious mind can process something like 40 million bits of environmental stimuli per second. Basically, can do thousands of things all at once. The conscious mind can only process 40 bits of environmental stimuli per second, approximately, which means they can only do one thing at a time. In other words, you can only think of one thing at a time. You cannot be thinking of two things at once, right? If you think of this, that means you're not thinking of that. Now, here's the problem. If an action is not habitual, in other words, you have to think to engage, that means that if you have to think about that, you know, think about something else. Now, let's look at diet. So let's say your wife cooked this really nice meal. You get home, but now you have to figure out how many calories the meal has, or you have to measure things. That means your conscious mind has to take time to figure all that out. Well, if your conscious mind is focusing on that, guess what it's not focusing on? Enjoying the meal. So you actually miss out on life if you constantly have to use your conscious mind to do the right thing. Because if the conscious mind is doing one thing, it's not doing something else. And that's why most people end up burning out, especially with counting calories, counting points, because all those things require conscious thought. We're already overwhelmed with work, with everything else we need to do in life. Having to also think about everything we eat every single day leads to burnout. And that is why it is essential for sustainable weight loss that whatever you do becomes second nature. You don't have to think. And you know how I actually end up realizing that? Because when I first got into the industry, I was like everybody else. I was teaching my clients to count calories, counting points, measuring their food. And I realized that pretty much all of them were gaining the way back. And I start looking like, well, what am I doing wrong? And I realized, having been raised, by the way, I was raised in Greece. So I lived there in the 70s and 80s. When I lived in Greece, thin was the norm. Cancer was a rare disease. And diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and all those mental diseases did not exist. Now, out of 350 kids in my junior high school, literally 4 kids were overweight. Everybody else was normal weight, thin. Back then, nobody exercised. Nobody worried about what we were eating. We didn't even know what calorie was. We never spent any time thinking about our diet or fitness or health. Why? Because all the healthy habits that took care of our health were habitual. All the behaviors that we engaged in, like the way we ate, we didn't engage in those behaviors because we want to be healthy. We engaged in those behaviors because they were habitual behaviors passed down from generation to generation through our traditions. And that's how we stay in shape. So it was our habits that kept us in shape. And since what kept us in shape were habitual, we didn't have to think. It was like a weight loss program was an autopilot. Wouldn't it be nice to have put your fitness program on autopilot?
Yeah.
And that's what my whole system involved from there. That the idea is to develop habits, like all the healthy behaviors that keeps us in shape to become habitual, so we don't have to think, which means we can focus on enjoying life or work or whatever we want to spend time on. And that's what I'm all about, is about putting weight loss on autopilot. So, oh, did you freeze? Can hear you. Yep.
I'm back.
Back.
So sorry about that.
Yeah, no big deal. I know how far. I wasn't sure how far did you hear me.
I don't hear you.
Can you hear me? No. Let's see. You want me?
Can you hear me? You hear me?
I can hear you. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Let's see. Can you hear me?
No, don't hear
Oh,
you.
you want me to go out and come back in?
You can do that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. All right, everybody. Sorry about that. We're having a little. I've had a little technical difficulties, but we're back. I don't know if I'm at the edit this out. It's just, I don't know. It's just life. It happens. I know I got to improve definitely got to improve my setup.
Can you hear me now?
Nope.
No.
I can't.
My mic is working.
Let's see. Speak now.
Testing. Can you hear me?
Oh, I don't hear you
No.
whatsoever.
Technical difficulties.
Check. I don't know. Go to where that. What do you call it? On the
Mute.
bottom, it's
Let me see.
That's what is that? A
How about
cog.
now?
That cog where it says camera mic.
Yes. Camera mic. Okay.
Click
Me
on that
testing.
and
Audio.
just go to audio and see what's.
And audio. It's good. Yeah. No, it's good. And audio.
I can't hear
Testing.
them.
And it's good. Yeah. Audio. It's good. Virtual background. And audio.
It might be me. Hold on one second. Let me see if that's the issue right there. Say something now.
Testing and audio. No.
Now I hear you.
Now you can hear me.
Yes, it
Okay.
was on my end. Oh man, sorry about
Technical.
that.
No problem at all.
A
It
little
happens.
technical difficulties. Yes.
It happens. So
Where we was dieting, I think.
yeah, we're talking about dieting. Did we get through the subconscious and conscious mind? Did I
Yes.
get okay? Oh, and I was talking about grease. I talked about that,
Yes,
right?
grease and thin. Yeah, we're talking about grease and how
Yeah,
there was
the
only four
habit.
people. Yes.
But that is the bottom line: is that if you want sustainable results, you have to make sustainable changes in your life. And that's the issue that I think a lot of people don't, when they make changes, they think, I'm going to go on the diet, lose the weight, I'm going to go back to normal eating. No, no, no. You got to make permanent changes. And to do that, you got to also change your mindset, and I think part of the issue that the fitness industry has is the following the wrong example. Think about this. I think we talked about that 95% of the people who lose weight gain it back.
Yeah.
Now, look at the 5%. And I've worked with quite a few of them, and I know quite a few people. The 5% of the people who are able to keep their weight off with the current methods of weight loss, you will notice that the whole life is about fitness. All they talk about, I don't know if you have any friends like that, the calories you're going to eat, the low carbs or whatever diet they're on, or the workouts. You see, maybe they like it, by the way. That's personal preference. They love fitness. That's your choice. Most
Yeah.
people, though, they don't live to exercise, including myself. I exercise and I eat right so I can live better. And if exercising in dieting takes up all my free time, what's the point? And to me, it's like we followed the wrong example. We try to follow the example of the 5%, which for most people, it's impossible to follow. And so instead, to me, what I want to present to you is a different example. What example is that? Healthy regions, like the one I was raised in. What can we follow their example? They don't spend any time thinking about their diet. They don't think about exercising. Why? Because all those things, they made them into habits through the traditions that passing it down from generation to generation. And we can do the same thing. And I look at, even if you're a parent, I don't know if you have any kids, but you can look at just for extra motivation. You can look at yourself as the example to your kids and what you're going to pass down to your kids. And the rules, by the way, that I follow rules, the habits I've developed, a lot of them, my kids develop. I'll give you one of them. It's, I believe junk food should be made special. It should not be eliminated. Because let's think about, I would never give up my chocolate. I love my chocolate. But I made it special. So what I do is Monday to Friday, I don't eat any junk food. Friday after 5 p.m., it's part of the weekend, by the way, I can have whatever junk food I want. And I can have as much as I want. And guess what? Because you can have it every weekend, you have one and you're good. You don't feel that urge to have more. And my kids have the same rules. Both I have a teenage. Well, my daughter's only 11, but my son's 16. They have the same rules and have no problem following them. It's a habit for them. They can go to somebody's house. They can offer them M&Ms, and oh no, thank you, without
Think about
debating with
it.
them and say, oh, I really want it. Because the other thing is that I tell about people about junk food is that what is the point of giving in to your cravings and having that junk food, and then you feel guilty about it right afterwards? How much enjoyment did you really get? Instead, why don't you make them special so when you have it on the weekend, you can have it guilt-free? I always say junk food tastes much better when there's no guilt that follows it. And that's like, and I have all these habits I built into my life, which I teach my clients too. And my whole family pretty much follows them, but it's not like like strict rules, but they follow them. They want to follow them. It's not like they're sneaking junk food behind my back. It's even when they go to people's houses, they don't go wild, and because people need to realize that it's in human nature to want what we can't have. So the moment you say to yourself, I can never have devil dogs, well, guess what? You're going to be dreaming of devil dogs. So by making them special, much easier to resist. And eventually, by the way, like even on the weekends now, yes, I have some junk food, but never go overboard because I can have it every weekend. I don't feel that urge to indulge on them.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. That does make a lot of sense. If you find something like when you do eat something like and you feel like guilty because you ate it, that like what pleasure did you get at? Like you're
Yeah.
supposed to enjoy life. You're supposed to really enjoy life.
Yes.
It's too short. Things things happen. You never know. You're here one
Yeah.
moment. You're not. So yes, you have to enjoy life. And to regret eating something is like that's bad, man. I love food. I'm
Yeah.
I'm I'm Puerto Rican, so I grew up enjoying food. Like that
Yeah.
was something.
It's
Yes.
so true. It's so true. Because I also, by the way, I have a degree in culinary arts too. I graduated from the Culinary Institute of America. So I love food. But I enjoy my food now that I eat less often than I ever did before. Because people don't realize is that when you allow your body to go hungry and you're not snacking all day long, your taste buds are more sensitive. So you will get more enjoyment out of your food when you're eating it less often than if you're eating throughout the day. And I think one mistake that I strongly disagree with, which I know a lot of diets teach this, to eat multiple meals throughout the day, like 4 or 5 small meals throughout the day. I'm completely against that kind of philosophy. And here's my reasoning. I mean, part of the reasoning. Show me one healthy region that eats that way. There isn't one. If you look at healthy regions, even where I was raised, on average, they eat once or twice a day. That's it. Lunch and dinner, by the way. Breakfast, it was never a meal. In Greece, we had breakfast sometimes on the weekends as a something special, but it wasn't something that adults ate regularly during the week. Now, by the way, they do, but their shape is have gotten really bad, unfortunately. But if you look at healthy regions, I know I hear they promote a lot breakfast, like the most important meal of the day. The facts say otherwise. And it's not me saying it, is again, show me a healthy region that breakfast is a main meal. There isn't one. And if you look at how the body works, breakfast actually makes no sense. Because ideally, for digestion, if you want to digest the food properly, the best thing you can do is rest after eating a main meal. I don't know if you have any dogs or cats. What do they do after eating? They rest. And if you look at where I was raised in Greece, we had a big lunch. We had a 3 hour lunch break. So we used to eat and then we used to take a nap right after to aid digestion. And that was part of our culture. Since in the United States, we don't have a 3 hour lunch break. I mean, not too many people have a 3 hour lunch break. They're
No.
more like a 10-minute break. I would say dinner should become the main meal in this country where you can have time to digest the food properly after the meal. Because if you eat this big meal and then you go to work, whether it's thinking work or physical work, it compromises digestion. Because in order for the body to digest the food properly, it needs blood. But if you have to think or you have to be physical, well, there's so much blood that can go around. So you compromise digestion. So you're doing your body more harm than good by eating this big breakfast and then going to work. You're better off skipping breakfast. If you have a lot of time at lunch, fine, have a big lunch. If you don't, I would have a small lunch and then have a big dinner. And with a little practice, you get used to it, by the way. I mean, I know a lot of people say, oh, I love my breakfast. And I love breakfast food too. I just say have them for dinner. Who said that you cannot have breakfast stuff at dinner time?
Oh no, you gotta tell me. I've made my wife plenty of times some eggs and salami
Yeah,
and for dinner, so she be happy with that. So yeah,
exactly.
like we love our breakfast. We don't necessarily have to eat it at breakfast.
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, try uh, the eggs over easy. I don't know if you ever had feta cheese?
Yes,
Okay, fry it.
fry the
Saute
feta
it.
cheese. Okay,
Feta cheese, saute both sides. It melts a little bit. It goes really well with eggs, just so you know. That's
okay.
like a popular
I'll
dish
try
in
that.
Greece.
I'll definitely try that. Yeah, because my wife is Dominican and she does love to fry her cheese,
Yeah.
and it's not feta cheese, but it's a cheese that She just likes to they're fried with the salami
Oh,
and they're
okay.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love the fried. We have a couple of fried cheeses in Greece. One of that, the other one is can't remember the name off the top of my head, and then you squeeze lemon on it. It's really good.
Oh, squeeze lemon. Never tried about the
Yeah,
lemon.
you squeeze
I
the
know the lemon
cheese.
helps with the lemon is good with the yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna try that.
Yeah, certain
Definitely.
cheeses. It's a cheese that we have in Greece. It's a harder cheese. It's closer to Parmesan, but it's not
Okay.
as hard. And you fry it, it melts a little bit, and you squeeze lemon on it. Oh, it's usually an appetizer.
Look at that. So you hear that? You listen. We're not only bringing you, we're bringing you like quiz. We're bringing you some nice things to try at home.
Yeah, no, it's because you know what's funny when I'm sure you've read a lot of stuff about the Mediterranean diet, which is considered one of the healthiest diets in the world. The part that I always found interesting because I read all the research, and again, I was raised on that type of diet. The part that they leave out is that, again, number one, we didn't eat breakfast. We ate only on average twice, but we were predominantly a high fruit and vegetable type of diet and plenty of pasta, bread, and potatoes. Like the bread in Greece, it was part of every meal. And so the question is, well, how come we could eat so much carbs and never really affect our weight? It's because we ate less often. You see, the one thing about eating less often, your diet becomes more forgiving with what you eat. So you could eat high carb food or food that considered fattening and not have any effect. Um, I'll tell you a quick story. Are you familiar with the documentary Super Size Me?
Yes.
Okay. In 2011, I did the same experiment. I went to McDonald's, most McDonald's. I had some Burger King too, but burgers and fries, same kind of food like Mr. Spurlock, for 2 months. I went to the doctor before my experiment. I had my cholesterol done, triglycerides, blood pressure, weight, all that stuff. But I followed the three habits that I teach my clients, the first three eating habits that I teach, which is uh, eat only no more than twice a day, lunch and dinner. Eat only when truly hungry, which is another whole conversation how to tell hunger from cravings, and eat every meal slowly and mindfully. And when I'm satisfied, stop eating. So, eating McDonald's for 2 months, you know what happened to me? Nothing. My cholesterol actually went down 10 points. Eating McDonald's. And again, I want to emphasize, I'm not saying McDonald's food is good. What I was trying to prove is how you eat affects your health and weight as much as what you eat. And if you eat the right way, foods are not so great for you, might not be as bad as they would have been if you weren't eating the right way. And there's other experiments that's similar to that one with candy and always with the same results. That if you eat less often, more mindfully, so you don't stop yourself, foods that they're not as good for you wouldn't have the same negative effect. And that's how the Greeks and the Italians, also same thing, they eat a lot of pasta and bread, could get away not letting the pasta and the bread affecting their health because they ate less often. Today, unfortunately, the industry teaches people to eat 4 and 5 times a day, which means something has to give. So what do? Cut down the carbs, cut down this, cut down that. You gotta eat, you have to be so strict with what you're eating. But again, you're not enjoying life anymore though. And to me, I tried to eat that whole wheat pasta. Have you ever tried whole wheat pasta? It's
No.
terrible. Oh, you're not missing anything.
Yeah. I'm not. Like I said, I enjoy my food,
Yep.
but I realize that eating out and preparing my food is completely different. When I
Yes.
prepare my food, it's so much. I enjoy it more, and I tend to eat less. More, tend to eat less because I
Yes.
kind of know how much I really want to eat. But where I go to a fast food place, I give me a double Whopper
Yeah.
or whatever with large fries and a big drink. No, when I'm home, I serve myself a decent amount, not crazy amount, but I would tend to eat less when I cook for myself.
Yeah. No, we all do actually. They're so true. And my wife and I, both of us cook a lot. But the one advice I would give you and is that try to, every time you eat, doesn't matter whether you're a restaurant or at home, to eat slowly and mindfully. Now, what I mean by that, because saying it and doing it is two different things. So from now on, when you're eating, and by the way, don't do this during the holidays. Let the holidays get through, then do it. Okay, gotta enjoy the holidays. But is and after you've developed the exercise habit, so get that down first, then worry about this.
Yeah.
Is put your fork down between every bite. To take a bite, put your fork down. Chew your food. Focus on the taste. Did I use enough salt? If you cooked it yourself, did I use enough spices or whatever? How can I improve it? But by focusing on the food in your mouth, you end up getting more pleasure out of food, because the reality is, when do you really get pleasure from food? When the food is in your mouth. Once you swallow it, the pleasure is gone. You got to get another bite. So the longer you keep each bite of food in your mouth, the more pleasure you get out of less food. And every study ever done on slow and mindful eating, people end up eating less food without even trying. And that's the key, is how to get you to eat less, but without feeling that you ate less, so you don't feel deprived. So you put your fork down between every bite. I would say in the beginning, I would even count chewing your food at least 20 times. By the way, ideally it's more like 40, but I'm a realist. So try with 20 and chew, and try not to watch TV, do any kind of hard work, any kind of mental work. So you're focusing on your meal. And the question that you should be asking yourself as you're eating, again, all these things become habitual eventually. In the beginning, it's a little harder, but once you get used to it, it will be second nature. Is as soon as you realize that the food no longer tastes as good as the first bite, that is your sign you should stop eating. Because how many times you're really satisfied, there's one bite left on your sandwich or on your plate. What do? We eat it. Did you really enjoy that one last bite? Not really, but we don't want to waste the food. And I tell people that whether you ate it or you threw it away, did you save the food? No, by eating it when you're satisfied, all you did is cause more damage to your body.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh man, this has been great, man. I really enjoyed this. This has been awesome. Now it's time, part of the show where you plug away. Let everybody know where they can find you, and where they can join you, find it, get your services at, basically.
Yeah. No, thank you. Uh, Basically, if you wanna learn more about my system, which by the way is called Live Your Way Thin, because I'm all about living your way to a healthy and lean body, not taking a break from your life and then go back into your life, because that doesn't work. You can go to liveyourwaythin.com, exactly how it sounds. Liveyourwaythin.com. There you can see all my programs. I offer online services. And by the way, I also have a book you can find on Amazon. It's called Fat No More: How to Lose Weight So It Stays Off for Life. And it's available on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and other retailers online. And that's where they can find me. Any other questions, they can always subscribe to my. Uh, there's a way to subscribe to my email list, and I give them updates. But it's a very, very simple program. And the other thing I want to say is that all my programs are designed that eventually you go on your own, because a job of a coach or a personal trainer should be to help a person develop certain habits. And once you develop them, you should be able to go on your own. And that's I'm all about sustainable weight loss.
And that's awesome. This has been an eye opener for me. I really greatly appreciate you coming on the show, man. This has been amazing. This is
No,
something
thank you for
I
having
need.
me.
This is something I needed to hear personally. I really did. Things happen for a reason. I do my podcast, and I've been attracting the right people into my life because I need to hear certain messages, and I'm sure somebody out there as well might need to hear this message. And so I greatly appreciate you coming on, and this has been awesome.
No, thank you. And then keep in touch. Actually, you know something? Send me an email when you start your walking exercise program, okay?
Actually, I'm gonna actually start that today. I'm gonna go put on my
Good.
sweats right now, and I'm gonna go
Yeah.
take a little walk outside, probably like a 5-10 minute walk. put my headphones on and just walk and listen to 4 or 5 songs. That should be like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And then come back home and do it when I wake up in the morning when I go start my car. Walk a few times in the driveway. Come home, come in, get ready for work, and
keep it simple.
And then that's something I've been, like I said, this is the week that I said I was gonna start doing everything. I'm gonna actually put in a crazy amount of hours this week at work. I'm doing a 48-hour week.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So, but I'm like dedicated to really setting the schedule now and really getting it going, and just I'm looking forward to the results, man. It's just,
right. No, that's good.
It's something that I'm excited for.
Yeah, no, great. Like I said, during the holidays, get through the exercise, then worry about the eating later.
Yeah, I'll get through the exercise. Let me get the exercise first down pack, and then then not worry about
great.
But yeah, I'm excited. This is, like I said, this is a message I needed to hear, and I'm gonna definitely check out your website, and I might.
Thank you. Can I give one quick tip also? One more quick tip, I think, for the for you and the audience. Don't use the scale as your success indicator.
And I don't even have a scale. We have one here. It's missing a glass. It's missing a battery. I'm not really concerned with that. Yeah, I'm not really looking to wearing myself.
Your success indicator should be, how are you doing on the behavior you're trying to develop? So each week, did you do your 5-minute walking? Great, it's a great week. Now, next week, did you do an extra couple of minutes of cardio? Yes, perfect, great, you're making progress. And that's how you should measure progress. How are you doing in the habits? Because as far as the weight is concerned, it's only a matter of changing enough habits. You change enough habits, the weight will come off. So the success indicators should be the habit that you're trying to develop. How are you progressing in that? And that will be my one tip I would like to leave everybody with.
Thank you. Greatly appreciate that. And now it's time for shout outs. So big shout out to my Real Wise fam, Brandy J, Poppy J, love you guys. Big shout out to the boss lady, Fina, love you, baby. And as always, a big shout out to all the essential workers out there. God bless you, be safe. And you know how your boy Wise does it. Peace out.
Thanks for listening. Listen on iTunes, Podbean, Spotify, and TuneIn. Find us on social media on Twitter at @wise_b_blunt, Instagram at @wise_b_blunt, and a Facebook fan page, www.facebook.com/wise76. Check back soon for new episodes. Until next time, peace out.